Good morning and happy Easter. I know this is kind of a different Easter for you guys than you're used to, but our story doesn't change. So we're going to go straight into our story today. So if you want to get your Bibles, we're going to be in Matthew chapter 27. So it's a very sad story, but it's also a really happy story too. So let's jump right in if you're ready. Okay, so there were some religious leaders that really hated Jesus. They didn't like what he was teaching, and so they had plans to kill Jesus. They had Jesus arrested. They took him eventually before Pontius Pilate, who was the governor of the area. And Pilate, even though he looked, couldn't find any reason to punish Jesus. But the people that the religious leaders had been pushing to ask for Jesus' death started to yell, "Crucify him." And so Pilate gave in. And overnight, the soldiers whipped Jesus. They put a crown of thorns on his head. They hit him with sticks, and they even spit on him. And in the morning, they nailed him to a cross. He was on a cross on a hill between two thieves who deserved to be there. And Jesus didn't deserve to be there. So have you ever done something that you knew was wrong, and then you got caught, and your mom or dad punished you for it? Well, did you deserve your punishment? Yes, you did, because you messed up. You sinned. So what did Jesus do to deserve the punishment that he was getting? Well, he didn't do anything, because we know Jesus never sinned, never did anything wrong, but he was being punished. So why was Jesus being punished? Well, the answer to that question is our sin. Sin is anything that we think, say, or do that breaks God's laws and makes him sad. So the book of Romans in chapter 6, verse 23 says that what we earn for sin is death. So that means that you and I are the ones that earned death. Jesus didn't. He never sinned. So why did he get what we deserved? Well, because Jesus was the only one who ever lived that never sinned. He's the only one who could help us. He knew we couldn't save ourselves. So he stepped in and he took what we deserved. Now, it would be like if you did something wrong and you got caught and your parents were going to punish you for it. But then your best friend knocked on the door, stepped in and said, "You know what, I'll take that punishment just so you could go free." Now, I know that doesn't happen in real life. None of your friends will ever knock on your door and say, "Hey, I'll take that spanking," or "I'll be grounded for my friend." That doesn't happen. But Jesus loved us so much that he was willing to take our punishment for us. So he stepped right up, volunteered, took our punishment so that we could go free. And that's just exactly what we needed. So Jesus stayed on the cross until he died. And it was a very, very sad day for Jesus' followers. They were very sad. So a man named Joseph came, and he took Jesus' body, and he carefully wrapped it in cloths, and he laid him in a tomb that nobody had ever used before. And he rolled a really large stone in front of the entrance to block it, and then he went away. Now, what a sad time that must have been for all the people who loved Jesus. You see, as people, we think of death as the end, but it's really just the beginning. So early on the third day, there were two women who went to the tomb, and when they got there, they found that the stone had been rolled away and there was an angel there. And he told the women, he said, "Don't be afraid. I know that you are looking for Jesus, the one who was killed on the cross, but he is not here. He has risen from death just as he said he would. Come and see the place where his body was, and then quickly go tell his followers, Jesus has risen from death." Now, that's the best part of the story. Jesus is alive. He defeated death so that we can live forever with him in heaven. And that's what Easter is all about. You may hear fun stories about Easter bunnies and eggs, and those are fun. They're fun games that we can play, but Easter is really about how much Jesus loved us so very much that he was willing to take our punishment. So when you get your Easter eggs today, And once they're empty, I want you to remember that that empty egg is the same symbol as the empty tomb is for us. There's nothing there because Jesus has risen and he's alive. So in your kits today, you have an empty Easter egg with some stickers in it. And I would like you to decorate your egg like I decorated mine. And leave it empty. Don't put anything in there to remind you that the tomb was empty and Jesus is alive. So that's part of your craft today. And for the other part of your craft for today, you're going to need a couple of things. You're going to need one paper plate, okay, some scissors, brown or gray crayons, and one sheet of brown or gray construction paper, okay? So gather those things together, and this is what I want you to do, okay? I want you to cut your paper plate in half so that you have two pieces like this, okay? Now I want you to take the inside of one piece and I want you to color that gray or brown all over the inside. And the outside, the rounded part of the other piece, you're gonna color all gray or brown too. Once you're done coloring that, I want you to cut a hole like this in one side. The side that you colored on this side, cut a hole in it just like this, okay? And then have your mom help you with the stapler. You're gonna staple it together like this. And what you will have when you are done is an empty tomb. So what do you need your construction paper for? I want you to crumble that up to make the stone that was in front of the tomb, like that. And then when you're done, you'll have an empty tomb to remind you that Jesus isn't here, but he is risen from death, just like he said he would. And that's the most important thing for us to remember about Easter. So I will see you guys here again next Sunday, and have a great Easter. Bye-bye.